Canadian real estate is expected to see a historic correction, the biggest drop ever. Now that's a headline. This video is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to review RBC's most recent report about the Canadian real estate market because they've revised their previous report. They've got new predictions on what's going to happen with sales, what's going to happen with prices all across Canada, and they're putting out really scary headlines. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tom Storey. I make real estate videos here on YouTube. And if you're enjoying these videos, if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, we're almost at 6,000 people. And if you're trying to make sense of all the craziness going on right now and you want to talk to someone that does this every single day, you can book a call directly with me in the first link in the description, a buyer call, a seller call, or a call just to chat about the market. Oh, and lastly, on the next episode of the Tom Storey Show, which is our video and audio podcast, which you can subscribe to in the link below, we have Nolan Matthias joining us. Nolan runs a YouTube channel. He talks about Canadian real estate. He's in the mortgage brokerage space. He has almost 30,000 subscribers. It was an awesome episode. If you want to check it out, it's coming out this Sunday in the link below. So let's get right into this. Okay, so I'm going to go over two articles. One, the summary article put out by Better Dwellings and kind of recap what happened. Then we're going to go directly to the source, to the RBC report that came out and talk over a few things that I picked out of there that I didn't see in other articles. So let's jump right into it. Canadian real estate expected to see a historic correction, the biggest drop ever, from RBC. Now that is a headline. That is click-worthy. Okay, so Better Dwelling put out this report. Now something I should say in advance here is that this is a revised report by RBC. They changed their mind from what they previously put out, which doesn't mean they can't change their mind again, okay? Even the economists seem to be wrong about 95% of the time. Not saying that they are going to be wrong. They could be 100% right here, but just keep that in mind as we're going through this. Okay, so let's get right into this. Canadian real estate is facing much bigger headwinds than previously thought. Now, what RBC is saying here are they are forecasting that the overnight rate will go to 3.25. It's currently at 2.5. That means they believe at some point between now and the end of the year, we will see another 75-point jump. It may happen all at once. It might happen split up into two different rate hikes. But that 3.25 is something that we have not seen in over a decade. Now, this is something I want to put in perspective here. If we go back up and we see Canadian real estate expected to see a historic correction, biggest drop ever, you probably think, oh my gosh, my property is going to go down so much money. This is terrifying. I want to set some clarity to this, okay? Canadian real estate in the middle of a historic correction. A historic correction is underway, warned the bank as it revised its forecast lower. Home sales have dropped 13% so far from last year, and they're calling for another 17% lower by the end of next year. So they're saying overall, they estimate a 42% drop in home sales from peak through the beginning of early 2023. This would exceed the peak to peak through declines during any other historic period. And then below here, they show 81 to 82, 33%, 33%, 89 to 90, 2008, 2009, 38, and then 20% in 2016, 2018. So it's 42%. Now, here's why I make these videos, okay? Because when I read that, I think, oh my gosh, this is going to be bad. They're talking about transactions, not price. They're saying transactions are going to be down. They still think prices are going to come down, which is obvious in a rising interest rate environment. But this report primarily is talking about how many properties actually sold. They also showed there was a 33% difference in transactions in 08-09 with everything happening with the financial crisis. But that year, real estate prices actually didn't drop in price in Toronto. They're up 0.1% year over year. So just because there are less sales happening doesn't necessarily mean that prices are coming down. Now, in this scenario, prices will come down. Of course they will. And they're comparing everything to the peak. For most of Canada, that peak was February and March. Now let's go right to the source, right to what RBC actually put out themselves, okay? So this I'll link in the description as well if you want to check it out. One of the things I noticed with this, the affordability is getting crushed. So rising interest rates are squeezing housing affordability hard. By the time the Bank of Canada is done, RBC believes that affordability measures could easily be at its worst level nationwide. I was doing this with a client the other day when we were talking about how the market has shifted. So let's say you bought $1 million property with 20% down with a 25-year amortization in February, and you got a fixed rate of 2.5%. Give or take your payments around $3,500 a month. Now today, an $850,000 purchase price with a 25-year amortization and 20% down payment and a 5% fixed rate, because that's where fixed rates are at right now, your payment is $3,900 a month. So although the purchase price is $150,000 less, your monthly payments are actually $400 more. And I know what someone's already probably typing in the comments, well, hey Tom, yeah, but the down payment's lower because the price came down. Yeah, 100%. And in this scenario, it's a $200,000 down payment on $1 million or $170,000 on $850,000 if you're putting 20% down. Final part of this report that I wanted to put out is the last part of the RBC report. A correction, not a collapse. The Bank of Canada's more aggressive course has clearly dimmed the outlook of Canada's housing market. We think both activity and prices are set for a material correction. Now, it's interesting because correction and crash get thrown together a lot in terms of when people are talking about the market. We're already down 14% from the peak in the GTA. We're up about 5% from at the same point last year and up 23% from 2 years ago. So depending on when you bought your property, what type of rate that you took at the time, and what your long-term outlook is on the market will all determine how you're feeling about everything going on right now. I really wanted to do my best in this video and not just spew out some realtor bias that I disagreed with any of this, because I don't. We had 2 years of absolute craziness in price acceleration all across Canada. Like, it was absolutely crazy. Now we're going to have 2 or 3 years or maybe longer of things cooling off. Now it's going to depend on the market and where you are located, but overall things are not going to be what they were. And if you're waiting to get a price that happened at the peak of the market, I think you're going to be waiting a long time. Make sure to check out the Tom Storey Show. It's in the link in the description. Have an amazing day. And remember, home is where your story begins.